Hello, my name is Charles Tackett, and I'm going to be introducing you to the Ohio Resident Educators Program through my PowerPoint presentation. The Ohio Resident Educators Program was implemented in 2011. It is a comprehensive four-year program. The goal of this program is to assist beginning teachers through mentoring and professional development opportunities to enhance their teaching. This program is to take place in the first year of their teaching career. The Resident Educators Program is designed to improve teacher retention along with enhancing teacher quality, also focusing on student improvement and test scores. This program is viewed as a pathway to enhance their professional learning growth. The Resident Educators Program is geared towards effective practices. They in turn start to develop excellence in their teaching growth. Teachers successfully complete program requirements in the RESA, which is the Resident Educators Summative Assessment, in year 3 of the program. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, the RESA component of this program takes place in year 3 of the 4-year program. In the 4th year, exploring leadership is stressed in the program. After the Resident Educators Program is complete, the teacher is eligible to obtain a 5-year professional teaching license. Now we're going to be breaking down the Resident Educators Program by category. So here, the first one we're talking about today is eligibility for the program. You have to be in possession of the correct Ohio Licensure Educator's License. You have had currently been employed in the appropriate educational setting, was in charge of developing and teaching students pre-K through 12, and you worked in the school setting for at least 120 days of the school year. Resident educators are required to complete the Ohio Teachers Evaluation, OTES, self-assessment, and growth plan every year. This is a yearly thing that the teachers are required to do. It has many layers. First off, you have to turn in your assessment and growth plan. It has to be approved by your assistant principal, your assistant superintendent, and superintendent. And then you have to go in and sign off on it through OTES as well. Next step in the Resident Education Program is mentoring. Mentoring takes place in the first 2 years of the program. The resident educator is paired up with an ODE state certified mentor approved through your school district. The mentor's job is to work closely with the resident educator on completing the requirements necessary for the program. Resident educator and mentor work closely together on the teaching and learning cycle. Very important. Components in this are plan, teach, assess, reflect, and revise. Within the teaching and learning cycle, when you plan, you'll be using the Ohio Learning Standards and developing appropriate goals and objectives. In the teaching area, you need to have smooth transitions through your lessons and the ability to adapt during your lessons as well. Assessing, you'll be looking over student data and how to use it more effectively in your teaching. Revising, basically you'll be reflecting on your lessons during and after. Tasks that the resident educator will have to complete focus on self-assessment, goal setting, reflection of their work, which we just talked about in the learning and teaching and learning, and decision making within the work. These are all necessary tasks that need to be accomplished in the first 2 years of the program. They'll be working with their mentor on constructing effective lesson plans for their students, and they'll be doing that through the teaching and learning cycle. You'll also be required to break down student data along with their students' work and test scores, which we talked about in assessing in the teaching and learning cycle as well. The resident educator mentor is guiding their tasks to be accomplished in these 2 years. All school districts have different policies and procedures for their resident educators. Know what your school district is expecting of you to accomplish during that time. Now we're going to talk about understanding the assessment. RESA is scored by an Ohio professional licensed teacher who has at least 10 years of experience in the field. Resident educators are required to pass a methodical certification test. Assessors review and provide feedback that is in line with RESA domains and criteria. So through that year of the RESA component, you will be getting feedback and you'll be able to review it as well. It requires you to do one individual lesson, supply content to the lesson, require to video your teaching, and answer a series of short questions about the lesson that you did in your video. Now you're going to focus on preparing for the assessment. Next, we're going to focus on preparing for the RESA. Resident educators obtain assistance in redefining their reflections and looking over their decision making and their classroom instruction. So it's all important. Everything leads into each other. Resident educators need to realize that these skills are important in preparing for performance-based tasks required within the RESA assessment. When we're talking about performance-based tasks, we're talking about their lessons that they construct. They have to show that they are tasks that show the state standards as well. As I stated before, the RESA assessment is required to be taken in year 3 of the 4-year program. However, some resident educators are granted permission prior to that because they have teaching credit and can take that assessment in the 2nd year of the program. Through the RESA assessment, they analyze and reflect on their teaching. The resident educators are allowed to choose their best lessons and practices they have used to submit into RESA as evaluation. Through this year, the resident educator will receive score reports that provide important feedback. The resident educator can use that feedback to work with their mentor in ways to improve their results. If your score reports are low and need to be improved, you only have that current school year to improve your scores. If you're unable to pass RESA due to your assessments being lower than expected, then you are required to take it again the next school year. Year 4 of the Resident Educators Program focuses on exploring leadership. Districts set specific activities for teachers participating in the program. Districts also determine the policies and procedures for these documented activities. The Ohio Department of Education has a very helpful online module called Learn to Lead. You can access Learn to Lead at the attached tab. To completely access the program, you will need your OHID number, account information. And also the goal of the whole thing is, goal of Exploring Leadership is to engage the resident educator in exploring and thinking about all aspects of leadership in and out of the classroom. The final step, Resident Educator Program is, after meeting all the required steps in the program, the resident educator is allowed to apply to further the teaching license to a 5-year teaching license. I've constructed a quiz for you to take over the PowerPoint presentation. Please click on the quiz link and use the game code 4719180. The quiz consists of 5 multiple choice questions and 1 open-ended question. It should take you about 3 to 4 minutes to complete. This slide contains the resource I used on my PowerPoint presentation. Thank you for listening to my PowerPoint presentation on the Ohio Resident Educators Program. Thank you.